Hey guys, if you love QF's content on our free Sundays and Thursday sessions, then please visit our Patreon page in the description and sub to the Black Kluge tier or higher for full access to not only our bonus weekly Tuesday night shows and the alternate Sunday shows you've been missing, but also to the exclusive episodes not available to the lower tiers. It's roughly the price of one coffee a month, and nobody at Starbucks will make you laugh like we do for that kind of scratch. In addition, when you sub to the Black Kluge tier, you'll get 2 weeks advance access to each Thursday session on Patreon before it makes it to YouTube.
You know, nowadays, because there are podcasts and everybody's podcasting and on the radio, everybody now thinks they know how to do radio, they know how to do talk, they know how to do... But you've never gone on a radio station and had to get ratings. It's nonsense what you're doing, sitting in your house with your podcast. Don't listen to the noise of the internet. If I listen to the morons who sit and comment on my show, they don't know what's in my brain. They haven't had a career for over 40 years. They don't have a clue. They're sitting at home living with their parents in a basement somewhere writing about me. Use your fucking head.
I mean, I guess it's good for people who just want to be on the radio, but there were a lot of really bad broadcasters who got weeded out by the system. Now they don't get weeded out anymore.
Oh, no.
If they've got 10 listeners, they're happy with it, and they do these shows, and they get their friends to come on.
I've been doing this a long time. I'm somewhat jaded, I guess. You know,
Jaded in what sense?
In the sense that I'm no longer captivated by the microphone now that everyone has one in their basement. So, you know, the idea of, you know, everybody having access to my job is a little annoying and doesn't exactly get me. I wasn't excited about the job beforehand, and now I'm really not excited. The medium was supposed to be just for a select few people who get on radio stations. What's happened is now everybody has access, and I don't like it. I mean, it's just annoying. Used to be special to be on the radio. Now I'm just a douche. I literally go to parties, and I'll meet some woman there. She go, "What do you do?" I go, "I'm on the radio." There she goes, "Oh, I have a radio show." It's so fucking annoying, I can't even tell you. Those guys, you know, which gets me crazy because I spent that entire career in radio for nothing. I should have just been broadcasting out of my house all this time. You see, Haktua got a podcast.
I can't imagine what that's going to be about.
I got a tape I can play you where she's entering her studio, and it's going to annoy the fuck out of you because it took us 40 years to get a great studio, and Haktua appears to have a better studio than we do. You know, and then I'm like, "Oh yeah, you have a radio show?" I just interviewed the Vice President, Kamala Harris, and they're like, "Oh yeah, I did too. I did it in my bedroom."
Yeah, I did
really?
too.
Okay.
Call Me Daddy is my show. Right.
Yeah. I just did it on Call Me Daddy. What is that? Everywhere I went, they were like, "Heard you on what was that show I did this summer?" With the three guys.
Smartless?
Smartless. Yeah. Heard you on Smartless. I go, Smartless?
Welcome, ladies and gents, to QF, a podcast about Howard Stern. I'm Fillmore, your host, a.k.a. Jim Fix, back from a pretty eventful and emotional summer, and I'm glad to present Mr. Len Young back from a long exile from recording due to, of course, summer madness and kids and all kinds of the stuff that goes along with vacations. And during the summer, we're all busy, but we are trying to put something together for you before we continue in earnest in September. Stern's dark, but we are not. How are you today, sir?
Man, it's been a while, and I don't think so much has happened in between recordings as now. This has definitely been one of the most eventful few months, for not least you, of course. Mm-hmm. And obviously our condolences. We were talking the whole time, you know, contact, and I think you were aware that I've been through something similar recently, so I don't think you didn't overload me with detail, which I appreciated, because it's only when you know someone going through it, sudden time, you know, you kind of brought back there again. But you're in our thoughts, and maybe this is a good thing, just to get back into this garbage and give your head a bit of space.
Well, thankfully, guys, it is not garbage per se, because we're taking a wrap-up show from, I believe, let's see, January 23rd, 07. I don't remember much of the impetus except for where you got Richard in the studio, you got Arty in the studio. They're discussing a couple things, including some topics we've covered with the, Arty wanting to buy a house, that kind of stuff, but not things that we have covered per se. Certainly not Len and I. But when Arty's on the show, it's always worth a spin. I want to thank everybody outright. This is the first episode I've recorded, aside from my explanation as to what happened to me this summer. I want to thank all of you for your condolences and your well wishes and messages, private messages as well, not just the stuff everybody can read. And I got some really incredible messages, including from Peg Chandler, who I won't say what she told me because it's maybe not something she wants shared, but it's people were. And it is our generation. It is something that we're all going to have to go through if we haven't already. It's very rare for a lot of us to have lost parents early on or whatever. And I'm certainly in the typical boat where my parents have lasted quite a long time. And my mom's still going strong. She's slowing down and stuff. And she was, I can tell you that she was great, like in terms of everything. She was very stoic, but it's a tough time. And the key was to get her back into reality right afterwards, as whatever reality means, and to not overload her with family for the full duration. Like when it's all done and everything's taken care of, get her back to some kind of routine that now doesn't involve dad, so she feels quote unquote normal again, as normal as you can get. So.
Yeah, I guess there's just so many things that go along with this in terms of there's obviously sadness. There's also a relief.
Yeah,
that there's a relief for you that your father isn't suffering, that your mother isn't stressed out over everything, and so it's a lot to. It's just so much for the head to process. But I guess there is that old stereotype that women are better at dealing with this than men are. Because in this case, evolutionary reasons,
I can't even imagine how my dad would be in the reverse situation. He would be useless as tits on a bull. And not because he's not capable of dealing, but emotionally it would be too much for him. And that might be why women outlive men, because we're just too fucking useless on the other end. At any rate, guys, like I said, thank you very much. And those of you who haven't heard it, it's on Patreon. It's free. I put it on Podbean as well, and it's on Spotify. And I think you may want to recommend it to a friend if you, because it's not about Stern, really. I mean, I do throw a couple Stern references in there, but it's essentially a very common story. I think well told, but you judge for yourselves and get back to me. At any rate, we're going to go ahead with this wrap-up show. But before we do, we'll also discuss a little bit of Liverpool stuff. Liverpool making some major signings this summer while we've been looking to see what's going on. It's still not finished yet. That Isak trade from Newcastle might just happen.
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Like it's at this point, all bets are off because since we last spoke, I never dreamed. First of all, we get a player like Florian Wirtz, and I never had the nightmare that Diogo Jota would be killed tragically in a car accident.
Yeah.
So, this is just obviously in direct contrast to your father. It's the complete other end. Obviously, it's someone we don't know, but it's someone at the complete other end of the spectrum of life. 26, was he? 27?
I believe so. Just married 2 weeks after we're 10 days after he got married. He was with this girl for a while. He has about a few kids, so a few bastards. And that they're all like under 4 years old.
Yeah.
And tragic accident in Spain. Car accident killed him and his brother, who was also a footballer, just not as famous. And Liverpool have retired his number, Diogo Jota, and his name and number. They're retiring the 20 permanently, I believe.
That's right.
And he was also it's synonymous because this last season was the 20th Premier League title for Liverpool, which matches Manchester United. And this season they may just go 21, and that will dig the dagger in further into Manchester United. And it'll be an amazing season to watch, whatever happens. I have a hard time dislodging them from the top unless Arsenal somehow gets their act in gear.
Yeah, I think it'll depend. I think we're a bit light at the back.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot of players gone out the door, and we just need to, I think, a couple more signings. But Jesus Christ, this guy Wirtz just looks like an extremely intelligent, talented kid. You know, just very intelligent player.
Yeah, he's the future. He's the future of the club.
I think I think within 2 to 3 years, he's the man.
Yep. Yeah, he'll be Salah, and Salah will be off. We'll be getting 100 million for him, selling him to Al shithole somewhere in this Saudi league, because he's still got marquee value. He's still in good shape. He's Muslim. He's like a perfect sort of archetypal family man type, character that fits in perfectly with the league, and still going to make a boatload of money. And he's won everything he can win.
We've seen what happens with players when they reach a certain age. They look great, and then 2 months they can just drop off. Yeah. So that could happen. He could be finished by Christmas. You just don't know.
No,
but if he is, we'll take 140 million for him. Thank you very much, or whatever they're going to pay us. It'll be something silly.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, and that's a proper legend. That's a Liverpool legend already, and it'll be a statue for him.
Oh, I think so. He's up there with kind of Ian Rush, and he doesn't have as many goals, but he's definitely up there.
Culturally, he's up there for certain.
Definitely. Yeah, what a pro.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we'll continue with this. We'll start with this wrap-up show segment. We think you'll like it.
No one was allowed to take our buffet when we had ours.
I took some mozzarella and tomato, and someone said, "That's for Jamie Foxx."
But in my defense, Arty, though, like that straw was inside me. Like a guy can't clean inside them unless...
Yeah, but the whole... Benji's saying you're dirty down there. Benji's saying, I don't know, they're shoving the thing up his ass in the opium den. I don't know what the fuck Benji's talking about. But he says he's cleaner than you with that hairy fat ass he has. I don't think... Honestly, if there's a stench that prevalent, there probably is something wrong. You know what I mean? And if shit is right there, ready to disembark... You know what I mean? It's like...
My friend always says he's got one in the staging area.
Yeah, right. I mean, it's on deck. You're right. You got one on deck, and Gary said he smelled you even though you showered.
Yeah, but let's do this one of these days. Let's do a lineup. Every guy's bare ass.
Let's do it right now.
We'll have somebody smell it, and I bet every guy smells it.
Rich, I guarantee you can stick your face up my ass right now. I'm not going to do it on camera, but you can do it. I'll pull my pants down. I guarantee I smell fresh.
Guys, you know what? I'm going to end this conversation right now. You could do that on OutQ with Larry Flynn.
And I guarantee you can stick your finger up my ass, and nothing's coming out of it.
Now, Richard, you took a thermometer now. You've taken a straw now. Are other things going to lead to,
No, just smaller objects like that. But nothing weird.
He needs to scrub his asshole with a toothbrush. That's what he needs to do.
No, I'm not. It's not leading to anything. I don't care what people think. That's just, it's funny bits that we do. I'm not getting a dildo or anything like that in there.
Nothing crazy.
A pinky? No, not a pinky.
Yeah,
well...
What if we chloroform you?
Just to the first knuckle?
Well, if you chloroform me, then I have no say in the matters.
That was the worst pitch ever. He goes, chloroform me and do what you want with me.
My God.
Arty goes, it's not like an episode of Batman where you just put it on their mouth and they go out. It's actually more complicated. In that film Suicide Kings, the Christopher Walken film with all those young actors, they try to do it, and of course, it's a closed car, so all the fumes are getting all of them. So
yeah.
They didn't, because it spilled, and they kind of fucked them up. But I guess guys, we're at pardon the expression, the tail end of a bit involving Richard sticking a straw up his ass and somebody blowing in it or something like that. And did you ever at any point get any entertainment out of those gay bits?
No,
as a stupid thing, like the lead up to Richard licking Sal's balls, I didn't want to watch it, but the audio to listen to it and listen to their sort of disgust at it and the way they were trying for it made me laugh one time. But then afterwards I realized, what the fuck am I laughing at?
Yeah, there's a couple of... I know me and Jay Santi has this obsession, and it's a humor obsession with Siobhan sitting on High Pitch Mike's face. He just says that's the funniest thing he's ever heard. Now, I went back and listened to it, and it is fucking funny. And the whole stuff around it is hilarious with the trip to Disneyland. Like, that's unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
That is so disgusting and depraved. I used to, it's kind of funny.
Yeah.
But when Richard and Sal used to come in and just do these, I'm going to paint with my cock, it just bored the hell out of me.
Yeah.
You know, and I remember one time listening to the Stern Show, and it was like years ago. I think they had an interview with some guy from like, what's the name of that band where they crashed into the swamp in the plane? Artemis Pyle from.
Not the. Was it the Allman Brothers?
No. The other one.
Leonard Skinner.
Leonard Skinner. They had one guy from that Artemis Pyle,
right? And
he told the story of the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I remember just being fascinated listening to this. I was hanging on everywhere, and then it was that after the break they come back and it's like Sal's there looking to someone play with his cock, you know, and just go, fuck this.
Something for everybody.
How many times can you whip this fucking dead horse?
Well, pardon the expression, I guess Howard they whipped it out fairly often. And but they were always caught between the problem of needing a visual component to sell to people, and at the risk of, and it was stupid. It's the way, you know, concerning yourself with the 90,000 people in a stadium when you're filming it for closed circuit television, this concert, and making sure that the millions of people catching it somewhere else are pleased with the result. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that to me was what Howard TV was like, really catering to a very small number of people and fucking the larger number of subscribers who aren't going to pay for the video.
Oh, like when you think of how much people were paying for Howard TV.
Yeah.
How much was it? Was it like $30 a month or something?
I thought it was at least 20 back then. And so you were paying probably 12 something a month for Sirius back in the day, at least. Maybe more, unless you got a lifetime subscription, which was like, I guess they said $500, but we all know that meant the lifetime subscription, the lifetime of the fucking device, which was total bullshit.
That's great, isn't it? Like, that's just talk about a bait and switch.
Corporate horseshit.
Yeah, like what happened there was they realized after doing that, we're fucked here. And they looked into this, they obviously contractually, it was so loose that they could play around with it. And they suddenly we're going to update the terms and conditions and the devices were so shitty.
Oh, fuck yeah.
It was just perfect.
Right. Well, it's true that some still work and some people still get some kind of a signal. But are you really going to take a 19-year-old device and hopefully make it work just so you can listen to Stern or whatever? I don't think so.
No, when you use some of those old... I dug out an old creative MP3 player a while back that I had, and it took a charge and it actually booted up. But God, like trying to browse it, the interface, the UI, we're kind of used to touch screens and Android and stuff now and iPhones. But that said, I have a let me see, it's up. I'm not going to reach for it, but I have an iPod 160 gig classic here.
Yep.
And that's actually when you really quick at getting around. That spinny wheel, you know, you can really get around it quite fast.
Yeah.
But Jesus, that stiletto, like I only saw it online. It looked like it just looked awful. The UI, everything on it.
It looked like 1 year, I can't remember, it might have been Star Trek, The Wrath of Khan or something. McDonald's had some promotion. And one of the promotions for the, what do you call it? What's it called? Happy Meal.
Yeah.
And the Happy Meal had Star Trek swag. So our Star Trek communicator, which was made of plastic, the shittiest type of plastic you could imagine. Yeah. And it flipped open. I go, that's what that stuff was stiletto reminded me of. A shitty Happy Meal plastic something.
Yeah, the type, if you grip it too hard, it cracks.
Right, exactly. Like perfect for a kid, unless the kid's like a budding, unless he's like Maori or something. And Samoan. And, like just doesn't know their own strength. But, I mean, it was kind of pointless to really think about it. So people had to pay upwards of, let's say, $35, $40 for both the video, the on-demand, and then the audio. And that's just too much money. Even like pre-Netflix, pre-whatever, on top of whatever your cable bill. Now, that's what the Sirius XM problem is. How do we compete with Amazon Prime? The stuff the subscription you got me for I won't say what it is.
Well, that's yeah. But it's there. It's in, everyone has it. So
yeah.
it's part of the equation, it's part of the conversation. But I tell you what I would say, right? I'm looking at this now. Howard, there's articles coming out this week saying that it's over. Howard is finished. I don't think so. But at the same time, it's out there in public that Sirius are not willing to pay. Now, the argument you could make is that this is planted articles from Sirius too. They're sending him a message because maybe he's not answering the email. Like maybe he's not negotiating.
Maybe the getting things done is he's putting the emails in another file and saving them for another time. No, the reason why the what do you call it? The mine or the bomb in the writing was the 500 million bullshit, which hasn't been a reality for 20 years now.
Oh yeah.
Like saying, well, they're not going to pay him his 500 million. That's something he would want press released. It'd make it seem as if that's the money he's making now.
Well, that's the only figure that's ever been publicly put out there. So that's probably why it's mentioned all the time. But we know that there's no way in hell. I mean, they are hemorrhaging money. They have to be. They're propped up by leveraged debt.
If it wasn't for John Malone and Liberty Media in 2009, Howard Stern he'd be welcome to Popeyes. Can I take your order? I mean, in terms of like his job prospects then. Unless he wanted to do a podcast, which, of course, we know he only had to wait until he was completely non-premium, and now he essentially is a podcast, and has been for a long time now. Just doesn't realize it. And so if he's not making these subscriber bonuses from the first contract, he's certainly not making upwards of $100 million for the second contract, and we've gone through this with the money episode. However, he does this every year. Press release, I don't know if I want to stay. We could, if I did a show based on the last years of every contract, you'd hear the same shit.
Yeah, I'm done here. That's what he used to say. You know what? I'm done at the end. And then he would do that.
I think I'm done.
I think I'm done. Then he'd look at Gary and go, what the hell are you going to do?
Right. It's a complete, and he used that year as a complete, let's scare the fuck out of my employees and not tell them that we're getting renewed or not they're keeping their jobs and keep them loyal soldiers, so to speak.
And speaking of Sal, like one of the reasons Sal is great at times, but some of the times you just look at him going, you're an asshole. Like he did a total fake bit where he pretended to cry.
Oh, that was one that he should have at least had the good sense to say, no, I'm not doing this. It's stupid. They'll know. And everybody called it. Not one person was fooled.
No, I wasn't anyway at the time. I just thought, but things were going bad by that stage. Things were like there was really only two kind of great years at Sirius, I think. Yep. And obviously, the clip you picked here is right in the middle of that.
Yeah.
But going back to this perverted, fucking puerile shit they used to do, Richard and Sal, right? The reason why it's perfect for Howard is he had a get out every time.
Yeah,
because if it didn't work and it didn't land, he would say, "Guys, get out of here! You're disgusting. I'm way better than this. I'm going to call Jennifer Aniston a cunt later. You get out of here, whatever." Back then,
and yet he still had his gay hijinks that he could put in video and watch it over and over again. Right? So it was win-win.
Yeah, in his wank dungeon.
Yeah, essentially.
As gross as I am now and as fat as I am, I agree with Benji. I think after the way I shower, I don't think you'd smell like a heavy shit smell or ass smell from me.
But I showered. I swear I showered.
Well, there's different levels of clean. There's Kansas clean and there's civilization clean.
You may have showered, but if you don't clean your clothes, when I was in there, I smelled something when I was in your office. Maybe it's the office itself, or maybe it was your clothes. Maybe it's the office itself, or maybe it was your clothes. But there was something going on, like a weird, almost like a BO.
Oh, well, these are clean clothes. I mean, they're...
Clean how?
They're clean.
Like fresh out of the wash?
Yeah.
But when you're in the shower, Richard, do you just go under the water and then walk out, or do you actually
I
scrub
get
yourself?
really in there. I get the fingers with soap down. I get the bar of soap up in the crack, and I
That's the most vile thing on the planet.
It's fucking disgusting.
We learned as kids, you lather up, you put the soap down, you put it wherever, like a face cloth or whatever you're using or whatever, and just no one else touches that. There's some gyms I've been to where they have communal soap, like soap on a rope or whatever. I thought I would just as soon take my own shit in my hands and wipe it as White used that thing that everybody else has used.
Well, it's like extending out that whole George from Seinfeld with the double dipping of the chip, because it's like you're putting your whole mouth in the dip. But like with this, it's like you're essentially like Richard Christie strikes me as the type of person who would get a face cloth, right?
Right.
And put soap on it, and then like literally like he's wiping his ass, and then just like running under the water, like wash his face with it. You know, he's that type. Just a degenerate bastard. Like, I have a big thing about BO. Like, if I smell, now I use a lot of antiperspirant because I do sweat a bit. I'm looking at the bottle up here.
Yeah.
And it's probably going to give me fucking cancer.
That aluminum or zinc oxide or whatever
it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
But at least I don't smell like a fucking hobo all the time. You know what I mean? I'd rather die 10 years early from Richard and people with BO are just like, how do you not smell it?
I'll tell you what, and I've asked friends that are like, let's say Chinese, like, do we have an odor? You know, like what do I smell like? Because you get used to your own smell, you may not even know it. And I've asked my wife many times, if I don't use deodorant, what do I smell like after sweat? She says, it's not that you have an odor. It would be later on if you don't change. Exactly. And you're just sitting in that soaked, like it's horrible. But it would be horrible if anybody did that for the most part. But I don't think he laundered carefully, or he knew anything about that kind of shit. And I mean, what did Arty call him one day? He said the barnhouse fag thinks it's no problem.
This is a guy who for his own amusement, roasted his own shit in an oven. His own human shit.
Right.
And they said, well, what happened? He goes, the place stank. And the next time you eat it like shepherd's pie, it tastes of human shit. Do like, what the fuck? So I just think with Richard, all bets are off. He's an animal.
Yeah, he's a filthy pig. There's no two ways about it.
I'm pretty thorough.
Then why do you stink?
That's a good question. I'm curious.
Are you using shit soap?
Back away from the shower and spread your feet to the water. Fully flush.
Are you washing liquid ass?
Robert in Washington, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Hey, listen, I got to tell you, I've been a fan of the show. So I live in Washington, been listening for 20-some years. I really think, Gary hit it right on the spot, but I wasn't really sure. I mean, Gary said he thought it was funny up until the straw came out, then he got grossed out. I mean, to use the line from Dice, what was he expecting, a tuna on rye? It's an asshole. Pulling a straw out. I think, to be honest, there's a little too much gay stuff on. I think, the talent, the on-air talent doesn't need to have these flunkies do this type of stuff. Yeah. I mean, you got Arty, who is unbelievably funny, and Gary, very talented, and Fred and everybody, but the guys that are these interns, like someone said, well, what about Benji? Did he lose some sort of status? He's got no status.
Now, okay, that's just one guy on one wrap-up show, but I guarantee you he represented the majority of the fans who did not really care for this shit. Maybe one time as a joke they might have found it funny, but the prevailing wisdom at the time was that this is not funny. It's still, we don't know who's crowbarring this, but it sounds like Howard.
It was very strange. I think it was a very unhealthy feedback loop they were in, because Howard had this idea that, Jackass is big, it's huge on MTV, this is what people want. But Jackass was 95% visual jokes.
Yes.
Right? So you're on the fucking radio. He's also getting some perverse enjoyment out of watching these two assholes degrade themselves for his amusement. Like
100%.
And he's like to scene at a Gladiator where it's like thumbs up, thumbs down at the end. It's just crazy stuff. But like, obviously these feckless, craven bastards, Richard and Sal, are so desperate for approval from this asshole that they will just keep going to that well. So you just have a big issue here. Is quality control. Everyone's afraid to tell Howard that this isn't funny, but it just keeps going on and on.
And it did. And it was to the point where other guests would come on and say, this isn't funny. Like, so people that they'd interview saying, like, what's with all this gay stuff? and Howard not quite, not sure whether or not to tell them, well, it's because I enjoy it.
Yeah, well, he would never say that, but it had to have been. He would be crazy laughing.
Okay, hold on. All right, give me 1 sec. Wait on there and keep the link handy.
There must be. Oh yeah. Okay. He's unbelievable. What a little cunt.
Christ. He's not terrible twos anymore, so that's not something you'd expect.
No, he's just this fucking asshole is what he is.
Oh, fuck. Sorry.
Unbelievable.
To hear that,
Jesus.
Let's hopefully get this to lighten the mood a little. Hold on.
Yeah.
Well, you can do this type of stuff. I mean,
can you hear that?
I can, yeah.
You got Arty, who is unbelievably funny, and Gary, very talented, and Fred and everybody, but the guys that are these interns, like someone said, well, what about Benji? Did he lose some sort of status? He's got no status. So, I would like to see more of, a little old school. I know you guys are on satellite. I had it a year before you guys switched over to it. But I think that, I'm all for the freedom of speech and everything, but it's just a little too much. Now, if the straw was up a chick's ass, would I feel differently? Maybe a little, but it's just not funny.
Hey, you know what?
It's not funny if it's up a chick's ass.
We're like people on the other side of the Berlin Wall. We're exploring our newfound freedom, We're just seeing how it goes.
Yeah, I understand.
Hey, what's your name, man?
My name's Robert. Actually, I just want to say something. Arty, man, you got to lose some weight because we don't want your best career move for you to die or something. You know what I mean?
No, I know. I believe me. After Tiny's phone call today, it's a wake-up call.
Man.
Who should have played that? That guy, Tiny, he was 600 pounds, called into the show, and his every word sounded like, like a donut being thrown into the fryer. I mean, it really was an awful. He was wheezing. He gave the stories about how he couldn't wipe his own ass, that he had helpers to reach under there for him, and he had that accent. He was from Texas, and he's just got, well, Arty, I know you're getting bigger. I don't want you to get to my size and all this stuff. And Arty was going, it's a wake up call. He did eventually thin out, but not for reasons that he'd, like to claim that are, healthy.
Yeah, there's sometimes when you see people who are so overweight, you don't know where the belly begins and ends. And there's almost like this kind of big mass almost below the crotch,
Yeah.
And towards the knees. It's just, God. There's a lot of red flags that they walk through to get to that point.
Listen, I went through I had to laugh. I stifled a laugh, actually. On the way back, I did the body scan thing at the airport. And I'm like, what must the size of that thing be like in Fort Worth, Dallas, Fort Worth, in order to accommodate some of these 600-pounders?
Yeah, like a lot of them can't walk anyway.
You're right.
How do they get through that?
Do they drive their cart over it, like through it? No, you know what they do? They just go around and then they'll do like a pat down or something. But again, couldn't you hide like an AK-47 in one of those folds?
I just think if you've become that morbidly obese and just so big, you've kind of forfeited your right to domestic travel on airplane.
Or international for that matter.
Like where are you going on the plane? I mean, you're not going to a fucking Disneyland or a water park or something.
No,
that's
you may be the water park. At that point.
I mean, you're not going skiing in Aspen or
no. You're not going ice skating. There's not a pond on the planet. I'll take that hit. Look, the icebreaker made it.
No.
I know we're being cruel, but like there's an extreme. Like we'd be making fun of someone who was massively skinny too, like the opposite, the Ozempic addicts out there. Now, not to cast aspersions towards people who have eating disorders. My niece has one, and still to this day, watching her eat is painful because I can tell she's still got it. She's picking at food. She takes it to go. Who knows if she just dumps it. And she's still thin, although she's, in the safe-ish zone. But I worry about that it's going to manifest it at any time because it's mostly all based on poor self-image. And now that she's had a couple boyfriends, hopefully that changes. But as a result, it made my brother more sensitive to needling about weight in general, like someone's too big, someone's too thin, or whatever like that. And that before he'd be the first to laugh at these jokes.
Oh yeah, but I mean, Howard used to get that fucking laser pen out and focus in on women's. I mean, when you think about it, we got to cover all that. We need to go back. We need to go through all that,
especially if this is the last year.
Yeah, a celebration of Howard. So we need Dana Plato. We need all these things. It's
the Magic Johnson show appearance.
Oh man,
yes,
he was
Dana
so
Plato's.
Nasty and he was so mean.
Dana Plato is definitely one we're doing this before the end of the end of the month for certain. At least the start of it. Yeah,
dude, you are so awesome. When are you going to be doing a live gig in Washington? Because you haven't been here in a while.
D.C.
Yeah, Washington, D.C.
I'm doing Constitution Hall. I just got an offer probably in the summer. So
awesome.
Look for that.
Anything else you want to cover, Robert?
No, just you guys are great. Just it's a little too much of this Richard and Sal and all these guys that really, if it wasn't for Howard, would be, freaking working fast food or something.
All right. Thank you for your input. Benji, did you want to respond?
Hey, Robert, this is all I want to say. I rarely defend myself in this way, but if you listen to the show every day and you're laughing at a lot of things Howard says, oftentimes it's something that I helped create.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, absolutely. I can attest to that. Absolutely.
And by the way, Richard was...
Now that's something you guys will have to determine whether you believe that or not, because number one, there's a reason why most of the fans are not finding Howard that funny at 2007, because and I doubt it's because Benji's writing for him. I bet it's because it's just he's hideously unfunny on his own. He can't deliver jokes. He can't read fucking people's names or songs for that matter. Doesn't know pronunciation. So, is Benji and Arty, is he sticking up for him? Is he just trying to be a nice guy? What's the story there?
Well, he's not a witty guy. He's not a relatable guy either. So it's his, when a lot of his. Do you remember when he would start the show? I'm sure he still does this, where he just talks for an hour.
Yeah,
talks about how tired he is. Talks about the chess. This is back then, talks about the chess game.
Right.
Talks about how he fingered his own ass to clean it with baby wipes. These type of great. He's a great raconteur, and he just wasn't funny. And I remember, do you ever know? Like there was times when Arty was out.
Yep.
And you'd just be like, oh, fuck, here we go. And this is going to be hard work.
Yeah. And I remember thinking, first of all, my first thought was, so I don't even need to bother with today's download.
Yeah.
That was it.
Nothing of note. Yeah. It's just going to be, he'll have Eric the Midget on for 90 minutes instead of 45.
That's right. You're going to get more Sal and Richard somehow. You're going to get whatever celebrity interview is going to be extended probably 15 minutes if possible, if there is an interview or whoever's coming in.
Yeah, so I don't know who his crutches are now. His crutches back then.
Well,
the show's a lot shorter, I suppose.
Well, the latest episode, the latest breakdown is actually, it works out to be about almost 2 hours without, the intro and the dedication song. But we included about 10 minutes of blinds. So that included some summer school show and some of the last clips we had before he took his hiatus. But, a lot of it is just the way Raven clips it is very streamlined. It really is like a ski pole as opposed to a Maserati. So there's not much of the, there's no more scat stuff, which I wonder, if we stopped covering it, maybe that's why they stopped doing it, because we decided we're not going to give them that kind of play. I don't think we have that kind of pull, but it does seem odd that when we stopped covering the scat talk, they stopped talking about it.
And the scat talk is just his bathroom habits and stuff.
Well, no, the wilding stuff and, what stuff goes in your ass and then, the anal sex. And that's what I'm really, not just the scat, but the him talking about his boyfriends that he got. Maybe Howard decided, look, I'm getting too many calls from people just calling me gay. So can we stop this?
I love how Howard, obviously realized, shit, this fucking me too. I need to
go the other way.
And go the other way, yeah. But so instead of not demeaning women, let's demean men instead. And instead of objectifying women, I'm going to objectify men. And he's just he's so dumb.
Yeah,
he just doesn't have any other strings to his bow. He can't do anything else.
Nope.
You know, a drummer in a band that toured. He wouldn't be working at Wendy's or wherever.
No, and my point about Richard is, like, and I think Richard and Sal are hilarious without having to do this stuff. That's what I'm trying to explain to them.
I do love when people go down that road. Like, you know, people have been saying that to Howard for years. You know, you're funnier than the lesbian stuff. That always makes me laugh when people say that.
But the thing is, too, Howard was laughing his ass off.
Oh, no, he loved it.
This, and that's why me and Sal love doing this.
Yeah, no.
He wasn't funnier than the lesbian stuff, but he had more to say than just lesbian shit back in the day, because he would discuss movies. He discussed Video Music Awards. He discussed some politics, local politics specifically. He had more speed with his delivery. It wasn't so plotting the show. Remember?
Yeah, and he wouldn't pander to those kind of those old showbiz rules of you don't slag off an entertainer. You don't, you know, you do it behind their backs. You don't do it on the air. Howard would do it on the air.
Yeah,
because I think he realized, look, I'm not part of this club. I don't care. I can say what I like, and he was totally right. But now he made that decision that if I want to get some fucking Streisand or Ben Affleck in, I'm gonna have to clean up my act. And I'm going to have to pander politically to the Democrat talking points, you know, because otherwise they're going to think I'm.
Well, yeah, it's interesting. Page 6, Raven shared the link that was page 6, but I think page 6 had a couple of different. I think there was Radar, the Blast, a couple of these all, basically parroting the same. That's all they do. They recycle other people's articles and they claim it's news. And it's the same shit over and over again. But this one was an op-ed piece from a person in page 6, and New York Post is quite a right-leaning, quote unquote news publication.
Yes,
and they do report stuff, but I don't pay attention to right-wing or left-wing bents when it comes to my news or things that I read, because I'll decide for myself what I feel about something. I don't need to be told what path to take. So that's why I can only, take some of it with a grain of salt. However, this particular article, the person gets it, the opinion piece gets it dead on. If I would read it, I'll read it another time with Raven, but some of the things like the Hillary Clinton interview, the 2016 one, where he completely took it up the ass. And would have been fine, as I said before in many episodes of QF, if he had just had Trump on and then her, or vice versa. He would have. No, he couldn't do it. Then the Biden interview from 2020, which was cringeworthy, regardless of whether you're left or right. As interviews go, and that humbling voice, like, I don't like it when people mock Kamala Harris. It's not right for the country.
Oh my God, Howard.
Dude, could you shove it up your own ass any farther?
Yeah. Unbelievable. I mean, this is a guy who routinely made fun of people with mental, physical disabilities, transgender people, everything. And now he's putting that fake voice on and pretending to be so outraged.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so transparent. The whole thing was a big fucking ruse. And, I just can't believe more people aren't talking about it. The guy doesn't, believe in anything.
He'd prove himself to be a craven coward. Not just a coward, but spineless, completely devoid of his actual opinions, an actual opinion. And that's even more embarrassing because of, you basically rode the crest of shock jock your entire career. And the biggest shock of all is that you're actually more conservative than you've ever been. And but in a way that not politically conservative in the way of you don't actually give anything up. You don't give of yourself. You don't say what you really feel. You're holding back.
Of course, yeah. And he would very cleverly hide behind certain things that would conveniently fall into his own circumstances. So he would say things like, we need to get these vaccines out. We need to. No, he didn't give a shit about vaccine. He gave a shit about getting one for himself, and he gave a shit about being able to work from home and being an agoraphobe.
Yes,
nothing to do with the general public. Nothing to do with people who were below him. Most people are below him on the pay
Everybody's
grade,
below, right?
So he would cleverly do that to appear to be a great champion of these. Liberal democratic causes. But the guy is, when you stand for nothing, you fall for anything. He will never, ever admit his true leanings anymore.
No.
He did before.
Yes.
When he talked about, let's blow up the kids in the Middle East. And although I don't know I wonder does he talk about Palestine and Israel much? I wonder what
Not
his
much
takes
at
are.
all. No, I think
he knows.
he's left that one. He's left that one alone because I think he knows he's hapeless. He's too stupid to actually comment on it. He doesn't follow it. He's not reading about it. He also doesn't have Ben to read it for him and tell him what opinion he should have.
But the problem with that film is it's become so divisive now in America.
Yep.
You now have people on the right who are calling it a genocide, right? So that's Howard's suddenly like homina does not compute. What side do I take in this?
He doesn't know.
Yeah, but he doesn't know what's right and wrong. He's trying to figure out what side is most advantageous for me to take in this.
Bingo.
And because there's no clear answer, he'll just drop out of it.
That's right. If it's not definitive, or at the very least, there's some clear majority. And when I say majority, I'm not talking 51%. I'm talking 90%. When it's so obvious, but as to be, hitting you in the face, he'll go with it. He'll say that's the way it should go, whatever. But barring that, no. In a topic this hot, he'll leave it the fuck alone until he can pick, until the road is well and truly paved for him. He's not trailblazing anything. Certainly not his opinions.
I always imagined that Howard was out in the Hamptons, and he's sitting there, an idiot. This is in the 15 years ago, and he's trying to ingratiate himself with John Bon Jovi and Bruce Springsteen and Paul McCartney, and he hears them talking, and they're all talking about the Democratic Party and how we go with our next candidate. And probably they're probably all vote Republican on the sly because
maybe you never know.
They just want to protect their money, less taxes, whatever.
Right.
But publicly, they have all the whole thing's a sham.
Yeah.
And Howard's obviously looking at this going, if I want to get these fuckers in for an interview, I'm going to have to really suck up.
Yeah.
And that's how I think it probably started, his evolution.
But that going that Alex Bennett route, of being very incendiary politically and going after people on the radio, that was the way he learned that. He learned that for to good effect, and he used it to good effect. But then to go turn his back on all that for the sake of what? Your audience has dwindled. It's pick a side. Like he didn't. He decided. Well, he did. He's claiming he's picking a side. But he really, it's as malleable as, caramel.
Yeah.
So
imagine the other thing is, I can't help but find this funny.
Go ahead.
One of the things in the article it said was apparently Howard's political opinions have become problematic. And we've said, and now you would usually say, well, what the fuck is that? Just an excuse? What has that got to do with it? But look what just has happened to Stephen Colbert.
Yep.
He's been fired.
What is it? He's done as of next year.
He's done, yeah. And the rumor is that this was a kind of a quid pro quo thing in terms of a merger and getting a merger approved by government because he's obviously not sympathetic towards the president. Neither is Stern. Maybe Sirius are going to need some help with something they're trying to. Who knows? Who knows? Yeah. But
we'll see.
We'll see.
Yeah.
Oh, no, listen.
Makes Howard laugh.
He loved it.
Brian in Philly, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, how you doing? Arty, you fucking rock.
Thank you.
My question is, Richard, you come from, I'm a big fan of your work with Iced Earth and Death.
Thank you.
And you come from a genre of music that typically doesn't put up with this type of shit. I mean,
Excellent point.
I mean, do you still talk to John Schaefer or any of those guys?
I still talk to all my old buddies. The funny thing is, I did all this stuff when I would go out on tour. I used to come out on stage in a thong and show my balls and play drums naked and do all kinds of... I used to play drums with my penis once in a while, and it was, you know, it's just fun. You do wacky stuff when you're on tour, and I believe that life's too short to take yourself seriously, and believe it or not, a lot of people in the metal scene have really good senses of humor, but, you know...
I think it was insinuating that they have a great sense of humor, but they might be a hair homophobic.
No.
I could see this if you were touring with, let's say, Judas Priest and Rob Halford.
And we all know another word for homophobic is really cool.
Imagine playing that today. Now,
18 years.
The thing is, do you remember? I know you did follow certain metal bands for a while. Anyway.
Yes, definitely. Yes.
And Judas Priest, to me, they always seem like classic rock, not metal. Like metal, relatively, but not really. You know, not slut thrashcore or like Agnostic Front or anything like that, and not speed metal. But they were sort of classic rock, like the way Sabbath is classic rock, but called heavy metal as well.
I think the genre I'd put them in is the new wave of British heavy metal. That's where
of course.
So it was in that kind of Iron Maiden. What was the other band? Saxon.
Yeah.
There's a number of these bands back in the early 80s. But Rob Halford,
not Venom.
I was never not Venom. No, that's a great audio. Fuck. But Rob Halford was someone I was just never really that big into. Judas Priest.
Same.
Just never. Yeah.
Even his contemporaries. Of course, I was never a big fan either. But I seem to recall at the time he came out that, strangely enough, it was one of those things where I thought that by that point the audience for Judas Priest was so entrenched and so into the band, it really wouldn't matter, and it didn't. As far as I know, I don't know anybody that listened to him before he came out that stopped listening to him after.
No one gave a shit.
No. And I think because of his age and because they figured, well, he looked kind of fruity anyway, so we kind of figured he was gay. But there was a time, early 80s, certainly early to mid 80s, that it would not have been okay at all.
I don't think it would have been, because I just remember at that age, a lot of Judas Priest fans would have been teenagers.
Yeah.
And back then in the 80s, teenage boys, homophobia was just a way you people were calling each other the F word all the time.
Totally.
You've got AIDS. I don't mean to be, I'm just telling you what it was like.
No, it was like, it was an adjective. It was a widely used adjective. We'll say fruity for now.
Yeah. So that was just the way kids talked. And I think if Rob Halford would have come out back then, I think it would have been way more damaging. I think, when your fans are in their 30s and 40s and they're older, they just don't care.
I think that's exactly it. And then they aged out of caring, his fans, basically.
Yeah, and times change.
No
one gives a shit anymore.
Like Queen had Freddie not released an incredibly gay video with Queen, Want to Break Free and dressed in drag. They were still they were already old hat at the time anyway, and they'd just come off the disco kind of fruity album, Hot Space. So they were trending down no matter what. That just didn't help them at the time. And even though he didn't come out, he just might as well have come out anyway with the release of that video. So I don't think it's a surprise that their popularity internationally in the States anyway, which is where the big money was to be made.
Yeah.
Right. In terms of record sales, that, it's not a coincidence that they got lucky with Live Aid, because they could have easily gone the way of, other bands, Thin Lizzy, whatever. By that point, it looked like, between his solo album and all that stuff, they could have easily ended in 85.
Oh yeah, easily. I think the I Want to Break Free video was too much for a lot of people, especially in America. Yep. I think the audience was more classic rock than anything else, because they're a very strange band, really. They were kind of between a few different things, pop.
Yeah.
But around that time, they played
Sun City,
which was an absolute fucking PR disaster as well.
Oh.
such a stupid thing to do, and things weren't looking good. And the works was okay. It was a return to form, but anything would have been a return to form after Hot Space. My God.
Oh, fuck yeah. Jesus.
Dog shit.
I mean, Roger
shit.
Taylor goes, Reddy wanted our music to sound like it came from a gay disco, and I didn't.
Yeah. But like they were in Munich, and they were just like doing a lot of drugs, and Freddie was out there. That was around the time he got AIDS, I think.
I'd say so. Yeah, we discussed this a little bit just based on the timeline of when he tested positive. It's like, no, there's no way he went from just testing positive and then getting full blown AIDS and dying in that time span.
Yeah.
Unless he got infected like 5-6 years earlier, which is the heyday really would have been 77, 78, 79, that time period, and the what's it called, the incubation period for HIV, and all those people started turning up like that patient zero. The guy they claimed was patient zero.
What was in Jutang? Yeah, did you ever see the Phil Donahue had an interview? He did a thing about Phil Donahue. When you watch back some of these clips, the way he speaks about it, it's all like AIDS. It's a death sentence. You know, all this stuff. And, and they had this guy on, and I was thinking, oh my God, where do I know this guy from? And he was the really camp guy in Airplane, in the control tower. Do you remember him?
Yes.
And he died of AIDS, and he was on the show. Yeah, he was on the show. I'll send it to you. He was on the show, and he goes, "I'm absolutely fine. I've had AIDS for 4 years, and nothing wrong with me." And he's been really over the top, and using comedy as a pure defense mechanism. Yeah. And I looked it up, and he died 2 months after
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. There was a guy in Dublin, called the Dice Man. He was a Scottish guy who used to walk up and down Grafton Street. He was famous. I remember seeing him when I was a kid.
Right.
And he used to just walk really still, and he was a performance artist. And I remember he had AIDS, and he went on the Late Late Show, Gay Byrne, and he talked about it, and he came out and he said he was gay and he had AIDS, and he got massive support from the public. It was amazing. This is in 1988, 89.
Oh, okay.
Or maybe it was a bit later. But he died about a month or two after that as well. They had a massive funeral for him. But I just remember that growing up. That was a huge thing. But it is amazing now how far we've come. And I think with Rob Halford, no one really bats an eyelid. No one really cared. When did he come out? 10 years ago? 15 years ago? I don't know.
I seem to recall it was later than I believe, but I thought it might have been 10 years ago. I thought it was earlier. I thought it was way earlier than that. But I knew as a kid inherently there was something off about Rob, like the leather looking, the clean cut, that kind of thing. He didn't look like, let's say, the guys in Carrion Corpse or, Corrosion of Conformity. Now, that also was part of that metal, the British, that was, you said, the second wave of new metal, of British metal. That whole genre in it of itself had a sort of the uniform on stage.
Yeah. When I think back on it, like Paul Di'Anno from Iron Maiden, the singer from Iron Maiden, he used to wear a bit of leather, but Rob Halford took it to the next level. He had those kind of leather caps with the chains on them. That are just synonymous with, the mine shaft or whatever.
Studs.
Yeah, the studs, and it's very hard to look straight wearing that kind of gear.
Yeah, that was it. And then riding with the motorcycle out on stage, which... Yeah.
Did you ever see that band Manowar, the American band? They all look
No, but they had some infamous album covers where they're wearing loincloths.
Yeah, and they're all smeared in baby oil. And
they look like Pablo Cruz if they picked up guitars.
That was a big thing when I was a kid growing up. People were like... we all reached an age, I think we were about 12 or 13, when someone said, "Do you like wrestling?" And someone would go, yeah, you're gay. The whole thing because it was grabbers. Everyone just thought it was, when people come in like people like Coco Beware and all these guys, and they were very like, and I remember seeing some of these guys coming out like
Adrian Adonis.
Who was the guy? Yeah, and Mr. Wonderful and Ravishing Rick Rude. And it was very, very homoerotic.
Actually, Rick Rude made me laugh because of the music and Bobby Heenan and that talk up. So I'd like to tell all the, New England sweat hogs, to keep your voices down while I show the ladies a truly ravishing body. It was a great heel intro, whatever. And apparently he was a tough as fuck. He was a bouncer. All these Minneapolis guys knew each other. The Road Warriors, they all he was a champion arm wrestler.
Oh, he was the real deal in terms
So
of...
he had internal strength as well as being built. He had that kind of, it's almost like a construction worker's strength where they're not built, he may not even be doing weights per se, but incredibly strong and proportionally stronger than he looked.
Yeah, we while we're talking about wrestling, I mean, we're talking about both metal and wrestling, and we lost Ozzy and Hulk Hogan.
Yep.
Which is quite amazing, really.
Hogan, and Hogan, who also picked up a guitar that was unplugged and played it in a video.
The mad thing to me, and I think it is really a measure of someone and what they're like as a person, when you see Ozzy and the family who are inconsolable in Birmingham going to and then you look at Hogan, whose daughter didn't even go to the funeral.
Right.
It's amazing to me. And she had herself removed from she had herself essentially removed from the family. It's
well,
sad,
you gotta ask, this is not many years after the whole scandal with the audio of him saying how, N-words and, he really just canceling himself. And then the sex tape with Bubba's wife at the time, which was that just showed you the depravity of Bubba and his crew, and by extension Brent and all that stuff. Very seedy shit.
Of course, and when you're best man at Bubba the Love Sponge's wedding, it says a lot about what you're like,
Oh, the guy that was on the show on the phone with Howard talking about how his wife was jerking off, was masturbating in the car on the way somewhere. You do have to wash the filth off you when you talk about these people sometimes.
Yeah, and Brent Hadley, he was another Bubba guy, and you look at what his wife's doing.
Directing cuck videos with his wife.
Oh my!
When you look at Brett's wife or ex-wife, I don't know if they're married anymore. She looks like if you made a poster with just her face and had the buttons of an old 9-button phone, the old rotary, not the rotary dial, but the old push button phones, right?
Yes.
And it said, for AIDS, press 1. For gonorrhea, press 2. Like a sexual STD hotline. She's like the poster child for that kind of thing.
She's unbelievable. She really reminds me of the guitar player from Megadeth, Marty Friedman, with that hair. And I think I'd rather fuck Marty Friedman, to be honest with you. I mean, she is
might be cleaner.
Absolutely. She is unbelievable.
She's vile
in the worst way possible.
Yeah. By comparison, Beth is white gloves.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. With all the, Eastern potentates that Beth might have sucked off for, a bit of extra, Twizzlers. I still would happily dip my wick in Beth before I even go near Brett's wife.
Get stuck into those clavicles.
Yep. Big time.
No, but I just wanted to say, I'm a huge fan of your drumming and all, but
thank you.
I couldn't go out to a death show and watch a straw be shoved up your ass.
Richard,
I don't think that's going to happen at another
That's certainly not the right place or time.
Richard, I know you love what you do here, but do you miss touring? Do you miss that life on the road and playing in the band?
do, but I have so much fun here that I don't miss it that much. But I used to love traveling and staying up all night drinking and just seeing the country and seeing Europe and stuff. But this is my dream job, and this is, so much fun, and everybody's so cool here that I don't really miss it that much.
Let's go to Frank in Tennessee. Hey, Frank, welcome to the wrap-up show.
What's up, guys? First day that I've been able to listen to the show live in a long, long time because I'm homesick with the flu down here in Tennessee. We got a big outbreak, and I'm all excited about listening to the show. And I got 5 hours of shitty straws and vomit and retching, and oh my God! But
It
really
was 1 hour of 5 hours, to be fair.
I kind of feel like Sal this morning, which is really what I wanted to talk about. Anybody know how he's doing? What went down with Sal this morning?
Yeah, we'll check up on him.
Sal's gone to several other train stations in the area and threw up.
And Sal, of course, has cut the cord at his house, so he has no idea what's going on the show today.
That's right.
So I guess he got food poisoning this particular day and was shitting and vomiting. Like, it was coming out of both ends, so he had to leave the show and go back. And then, I don't know what the fuck it was. Clearly some food poisoning, something he ate, clearly.
This guy, a caller, is saying he has the flu.
I mean, he had the flu, yeah.
No, but the caller said, yeah, but there's no way he had the flu. It just annoys me when people say they have the flu. If you had the flu, you wouldn't be ringing up a radio show. You'd be dying.
Not.
You know what I mean? Anyway.
Yeah. Maybe he's recovering from the flu. But he
fair enough.
We'll have to fill him in tomorrow. Let's go to Shane in Kentucky. Hey, Shane.
Hey, guys. Good show today. I just had a question about how come Howard always lets Robin off the hook once he gets her going? And then I got a comment.
Well, what do you mean?
I mean, yesterday when he had Robin going when she was crying, he just lets her off the hook, and then this morning he starts on Arty when that guy came out with that on the computer about, like, RobinsWrong.com. Robin started crying, and he just changed the subject. He won't stay on her.
Do you guys agree with that? Do you think Howard let her off the hook?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it's wrong, and I don't know if he's doing it out of sincere, like he doesn't want to hurt her feelings, or he doesn't want to come across as mean, but yeah, I definitely feel that he does that.
Arty, you were in there. Do you agree?
Well, I think he took it as far as it could be taken at that point. You got to remember that, Robin is the second host of the show, and if you get her that pissed off at 6:20, it's a hard climb uphill the rest of the show. So I think Howard might have said, all right, enough. She's clearly really mad.
You're right. I do remember the day that Robin did walk off the show around 6:20. We did get her that riled up.
We covered that already. That was the Cleveland book signing, and that in itself was fantastic audio and video.
Brilliant, yeah. And I think what happened there was with the Robin's Wrong stuff is Howard, what we didn't see is that Howard could see her body language in her face and just thought, you know what, I'm not going to, she's not able for this thing.
Well, and yeah, she's not in for the long, she's not in for the long haul. That was for certain.
Yeah.
But and that's the thing, like I don't know why he had such sway over her anyway, because financially, but maybe it's a matter of not being able to confront her. And if she walks off and she gets like out of control or decides, fuck this, he's got that worry of what could she say if she was done with the show? We pushed her and needled her too much. I think that's the fear he had.
Yeah. He didn't view her. He viewed everyone as being a complete underling. But I think with Robin, he couldn't do that. He couldn't afford to do that. She had enough money probably by this stage that she didn't need to stay there. She probably really wanted to, but she probably could have walked out.
I think probably at the time and even like to this day, she's like, what else am I going to do? I've got no friends or very few friends. I'm not getting, I mean, she tried to get that pilot.
Acting.
Yeah, and acting and her books and whatever else, and the Vegecation of Robin, which eventually, when Benjamin is less busy, we'll get started on that. But we still got to finish Colford, and he's mega busy these days, guys. I don't know specifically, like if she just figured, well, it's still good money for what little I do, so why not just ride it out? And this will finance my next bunch of trips and some other purchases and stuff. So I see why she stayed on. But if she really made the money people are talking about, like 10 million or 5 million, she would have been gone a long time ago.
I think there's no way she made that much money, although she was so bad with money.
Yeah.
That who knows? Like, in between the way she liked to live and the houses she lost money on and everything, maybe she did need to stay there.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Certainly Bowie did.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you don't want that to happen, but I think later in the show he might have tortured her a little more with that.
Hey Teddy, do we have the ability to make a phone call from this studio, like right now, live? when somebody gets Sal's phone number, maybe
we're trying to call him now.
Let's call him on the air. I don't want to get his reaction off the air. I want to hear on the air.
I just called and went to his voicemail.
Okay.
Will, what were you going to say?
No, Robin made like a really, I thought, mean comment. I don't know if it was directed toward Arty today when she was like, there's a lot of hangers-on now. You weren't here at the beginning, so how dare you criticize me now?
Oh, right. I think it was directed, I'll tell you, I think it was directed at me. I think it was directed at Will and Ralph because she made another reference to something Will said on the wrap-up show yesterday, and clearly we're all newer people, and we were all making her mad. So I think it was directed at me, Will, and Ralph in particular at that point. That's what I think. I don't know, but I picked up on that as well. It wasn't subtle.
Did she say? Like,
okay, hold on. Let's play a little bit more, and then we got things to say about this.
Like she built the train, and you guys are riding on the train. Exactly.
And yes. No one helped build these people didn't help build the train. They just jumped on the train.
Ooh, I didn't hear that. That sounds vicious.
All right, let's.
I remember that, and I have the audio somewhere as well.
Right.
And it was one of those passive aggressive things, like that's the kind of thing you say when you're bereft of actual wit, and you decide that my tenure trumps anything you could possibly say. But let's be honest, if it isn't for Billy West, if it isn't for Jackie, if it isn't for Arty, does this show continue? No, it doesn't. I mean, it is continuing now, but not making money.
The show was successful despite Robin's presence. She did not make it what it was. No way, never.
And I mean, how would you feel the level of delusion must be concrete, cemented into her noggin at this point, to where she decides, okay, I'm absolutely fine being a token. I'm absolutely fine being this bulletproof vest for racism that this guy has been wearing for his entire career. And because of the money, I've taken enough money, I've made enough money being this step and fetch it, essentially.
Yes.
From this inherently racist guy. I'm not even talking about a guy that was just a character that she knows is, this, humanitarian. No, he's an absolute piece of shit. Yeah. And she's fine staying with him.
Yeah, it's very interesting. I think with Robin, we've seen examples where the cognitive dissonance was so great. It was a warring thing in her mind. Linda Rodstad blew the fucking head off her one night in Jay Leno. Do you remember that?
I remember distinctly.
And Robin had nothing.
No.
So that you're not fit to comment because you don't listen. Of course, right. Everyone should
anybody can
allowed an opinion. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I don't think Robin ever made peace with the show, and even all the way up to that dopey piano player that Howard made some innocuous.
Fucking hell.
Howard made some innocuous comment. And,
right. It got back to her.
Because this is the world's colliding in Robin's life.
Yeah.
On air, she's a token bit player on a show that's awful and at best washed up and finished. Right? And has this really bad history. Yeah. And then in her private life, she's swooning around like some fucking sophisticate, and it doesn't work.
It doesn't match, doesn't it? It doesn't jive. No. And it's funny you mentioned about the way the show follows. It's it's really like a trail of dead corpses that this show, some people, when people get married, they have the little streamers at the end of the car, like when they're driving away. Instead, just corpses of whack packers, celebs, and Nicole Smith, certainly, that stupid weigh machine. She's on the back of that, but then it's not like other controversies with bands like, let's say the Stones, and they're swapping partners, at some point, or I don't know, someone, like the ins and outs of an Aerosmith, where they kick their lead singer out and decide, well, that's it. The acrimony that can happen from a Black Crowes.
Yeah.
That's nothing compared to what the Stern Show has done. And even Metallica, complete sellouts from the get-go. Yeah. As soon as they did that Black album, their fans don't hate them the way Howard's fans hate him.
Yeah, well, I think the X fans might do. I'd say there's a lot of lapsed Metallica fans from the 80s who just think they're a fucking joke.
Yeah.
And quite rightly so, I would say.
Yeah.
The way they treated Jason Newsted was an absolute disgrace. They deleted his bass off the first album he played on, and then they treated him like a piece of shit for the rest of the time he was there, and then fired him because
he wanted to make an album.
Some awful other band. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look, anyway, I know what you mean though. But the people who are, I think with Howard it's probably quite similar in that anyone who's still listening, there's such a small number that they've obviously made peace with all this stuff, or else they're just not aware to know what they're seeing, what in their own eyes or hearing, you know.
Yeah. As you said, cognitive dissonance. It's not just with Robin, it's with the listeners as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
What was your comment, Shane?
Like I said, I wish the train had a drink car right now.
My other comment was like Arty going on about Howard not buying anything. That show that was just on cable about 3 weeks ago showed this crazy house that he's building, and he's trying to get on Arty for trying to buy his own self his first house.
He's not saying, but you missed the point. He's not saying that Arty shouldn't buy a house. He was talking about more like where Arty buys a house.
Right. Well, I'm saying Howard saying he don't buy nothing extravagant. What's a $42 million house is not extravagant?
No, somebody called in about that, actually, and made that comment.
Right, it doesn't have central air, sir.
Thanks, Shane. Appreciate the call. All right, we're going to try and call Sal here. Go ahead, Jim. Do your thing. And then we're going to get to the clip of how Arty started his morning, telling off Howard and calling him old and everything else, which was an interesting way to start the day.
So are we trying Sal at home or on a cell?
Home.
Good. That's where he is. And if he's not there, he better have a good excuse.
Which line, Jim? Gary, you lead on this.
Of course.
Hello?
Hey, it's Gary. We're live on the air. Can I talk to Sal?
This is something that I swear to Christ, I had friends who did this growing up, and my parents would never not comment on the way they answered a phone. When you answered a phone and they called the house and they didn't say, "Hi, Mrs. So-and-so, it's so-and-so, can I talk to, Fillmore?" And she said, "How were they raised in a fucking barn that they can't, the pleasantries?" Gary does this right away. He's like, "Hi, it's Gary," as if to say, Sir Delabate, Esquire,
exactly.
Pretty, might I have a word with, he doesn't do that. I've always found that distasteful when people do that on the phone.
Bowie is like the cocky little fucker who's hiding behind the legs of the big bully in the schoolyard. He's got this fucking arrogance about him now. And this all happened around this time. Because the way he spoke on that phone was basically like, you should know who this is.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
Baba Booey.
And I don't need to say hi to you because you're temporary. I'm permanent.
Yeah. What's your name? Fuck you. That's my name.
Exactly. That's great.
He's actually sleeping.
Oh, is he really sick?
Yes.
Christine, we're on the air. I just want to talk to you for 2 seconds. How sick is he?
He's throwing up.
Still?
He hasn't thrown up since he came home, but yeah.
He told you what happened at Penn Station, right?
Actually, no, because he came in and I sent him to quarantine.
So who's nursing him back to health?
Nobody. He's locked in my son's room.
Christine, is the house like totally gross?
I'm freaking out right now.
Yeah, he threw up, and then Christine, I got to break this to you. He had several accidents as well along the way home.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh, my God.
Sal was literally a man with nowhere to go. Howard didn't want him here because he's going to get him sick, and Christine doesn't want him home because he had to get a hotel.
All right, so we were just checking on him. We wanted to make sure he was okay. Is he sleeping now?
He's sleeping. He's been sleeping since he came in, and I'm not checking. I'm not going up there, so.
All right, we'll give him our best.
That's a wife that cares.
Yeah, absolutely. And by the way, if Sal can't afford a hotel, that's why he's back at home.
Yeah, no kidding. That was me when I got my first bit of COVID. I had it coming out of both ends, and in the middle of northern Greece, and no water anywhere. Like you could ostensibly drink the tap water, but I could not keep anything down. And that was the most frightening time because I was probably a kilometer away from the nearest little store that sold any water or drinks kind of thing. Wow. And I was afraid, like, on the way there that I'd shit my pants, like, with just diarrhea. And I managed to go. I managed to clear myself out as much as possible. And then in fucking 40-degree heat, walk a kilometer to get some water.
God.
And pray to God. And as soon as I got there at the fucking store, I'll never forget, I bought 2, drank all of one, and like a 2-liter bottle, and then took the rest home to the apartment.
Jeez.
Yeah. Wow. And that was 40 hours I couldn't eat anything.
God. It's that heat is scary. It's really dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
Did you hear about the guy, Michael Mosley? He's a very famous doctor on BBC. TV doctor type guy. Yep. He's really good, actually. He did a series about fasting about 10 years ago, a documentary series, and created a 5-2 diet thing. And I think he made a lot of money out of it, but it's all about trying to have a short eating window and all this kind of stuff. Anyway, he was in Greece last summer.
Yep.
And he went for a walk on one of the islands. And he just took a wrong turn. And he had an umbrella. Mm-hmm. He was walking, he was seen on the CCT, took a wrong turn, he went missing.
Heat stroke.
He collapsed. He died.
Yeah.
It was only about 90 minutes later, 2 hours later. Like it's...
In Australia, it happens so much when people try to cross the country in a car and they don't have enough supplies and they get stuck, the car breaks, it overheats, whatever, and they are fucked. Completely fucked. And in Greece, same thing happens on the islands. People go for trekking, and I did it stupidly. 6 hours in 40-something degree heat in Athens when I was 25 walking.
Jesus.
And I drank, I'm going to say, 5.5 liter bottles of, Powerade, Gatorade, whatever, plus regular waters, and didn't piss once.
Yeah. No,
it was all sweat. It all just came right out of the body any other way. And I got my uncle, he saw me looking like, Burt Reynolds in Injun Joe or something, like I was, or like Navajo Joe or something, like I was native in terms of how red my skin was. And he says, "What the fuck did you do?" And I go, "It didn't occur to me. I didn't think it'd be that bad."
Yeah.
Yeah.
You feel okay until you don't. But I mean, it is interesting. I do find it funny, this idea that someone might risk death in order to avoid shitting their pants in public. Because I've done that once. I actually shit my pants in public once, but it was on a tube in London.
Yeah.
But there was no one else on the tube.
And it's a perfect place to do it.
Yeah, because I'd eaten a load of, I'd taken a lot of these Andrew's antacid things because I had heartburn.
Okay.
And I ate a load of them because I still had heartburn. I remember getting this kind of feeling in my stomach just going, oh. And I looked on the back and it said, excessive consumption may cause laxative effects, right? So, fuck, right? Hell. So I waited till everyone got off the tube close to Heathrow because it goes out above the ground out there. Yeah. And I just leaned over and said, because I really needed to, I said, I'll just lean over and let this out. Not thinking that what would happen. Just disaster.
Is that more than you bargained for?
Yeah. I walked into the airport like a penguin, straight to the jets.
That's brutal. Guys, I hope you're enjoying this episode. Yes. Tell us your favorite diarrhea stories, please.
Yeah, there goes lunch. And we're giving out about Howard about the scat stories, but there you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Thanks, Christine.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
It's our tribute to Howard.
Our tribute, exactly.
It's so great that she doesn't want him there. No, she exiled him to one of the kids' rooms.
I know. I guess the son has a higher immunity than she does.
Antonio's going to get sick.
I wonder what he did with his underwear, if he threw them away at Penn Station or if he wore them home.
Find out.
You think Sal threw those away? Come on. Something tells me we're going to be seeing those tomorrow.
Yeah, they're going to be on Gary's head.
They're going to be on eBay by Wednesday.
Now, if you missed the beginning of the show, this is 3, Teddy. Here's Arty got a little upset when the show first started.
Is your career goal to be a landlord?
Honestly, Howard, I'm going to strangle you until
Why?
I don't want to.
Can't talk to Arty.
Why can't I ask you? No, because you sound like an annoying old fuck. You sound like an annoying old fuck. You're annoying the fuck out of me. You're like a little nudge right now.
But if you know better than Howard, why can't you just listen to him and apprise him of where he's wrong?
Mm-hmm.
Every morning from now on, I'm going to set one of you off. I decided.
Now, Arty, what's that like? Because I wasn't watching what was going on. but listening, you sound clearly irritated.
Right.
And he seems thoroughly amused at your irritation, but it doesn't seem like he's backing off of you.
They're making these comments based on nothing. They have no idea where I'm looking at a house, what my situation is. They've never been to my apartment now. I just say casually I might buy a house, and I'm yelled at, and Robin is like a parrot on his shoulder. You know, why would you do this? Well, you're so wrong. You're being ridiculous. You're being dumb. I've got to watch up on you. You can't talk to Arty. It's like, I mean, does any man like that? I mean, I like, you know, it's like when you're watching a football game and you want to take a bat to somebody's fucking head.
He crystallized the feeling of a great many who are listening to this fucking show, listening to that kind of shit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Protect your interest.
My interest.
So no real estate advice from Howard and Robin moving forward?
No, listen, I got, that's the other thing. I got overly mad too early in the show. You can't do it. You got to pace yourself. You know, a couple of months ago, Fred was really mad early in the show, and a guy called up. He's a regular caller. He had a great joke. He called up and said, 6:10 and Fred is already on the ropes. And, you know, that's what I felt like, too. You get aggravated. You got to pace yourself, man. So I was able to sort of calm down and get back into a regular sort of mode because you got another 5 hours to do. But, I mean, it was funny, and Howard knows he's annoying me, and it's funny, and that's it. So, but I was able to calm down, thank God.
I'll tell you, that first 45 minutes of the show is a common place. It's almost like, you know, you walk out into the ring and you don't have your gloves up and somebody hits you. You know what I mean? And I've seen a lot of people lose it in that first hour because, first of all, Howard has plenty of time, you know, to do whatever he wants.
Yeah. People look at me and they feel I need advice, and there's something about me that lets people think they can just give me advice. And insulting things like, you know, I can know somebody for 10 minutes and they'll go, you could lose some weight, right? Listen, I got an idea for you. And I've been, this is happening since I was in high school, and I'm sick of it. So sometimes on the air, you know, I start to lose it.
And everybody always knows better, right? They have the solution.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Jerry in Jersey, you're on the wrap-up show.
Yeah, I got a great place for Arty to look for a house. Right now, you can probably get a crack den outside of the new Yankee Stadium. Cheap as hell. And, you know, it'll triple in price when the new stadium goes up.
That's right. Like that, the new stadium could be like the Freedom Tower.
Randy in Tennessee, you're on the wrap-up show.
Hey, guys.
What's up, Randy?
Big fan. Appreciate it. Hey, Arty.
Yeah.
Buy all the fucking houses you want to buy, man. It's your money. You're working for it. Fuck Howard. Fuck them all. Buy all the houses you want. And I got another one for you. Did Sal say he had the runs?
Yeah.
That's when you needed the straw.
No.
You could have got Richard on one of those lumpy shit shakes.
Oh, God.
The joy of getting callers from all across the country to give their own unique flavor, pardon the expression, of the events of the show that day. I love that.
It's not C-SPAN, is it?
No, it was not.
Don't give him any ideas,
Is that a
Randy.
dice phrase?
Hey, appreciate it, guys. Hang in there, man. Take care.
Thanks for the call.
Where was he from?
Tennessee. A lot of calls from Tennessee today. Hey, Ralph.
Hey, now. Hey, you know, I hadn't heard that. I didn't heard the replay, and I heard the whole thing with Robin and stuff. And boy, she was really upset.
Yes.
And I'm listening to that going, what show does she work on? You know, it's like it's weird. Everybody really has their, like, why was she upset over that? It seems silly. And it's a funny website. I mean, it's.
Well, do you think do you think
seriously.
the website is what set her off, or was there something like something that Arty said yesterday?
No. I remember we covered that with I'm trying to think who it was. I think it was with Jay Santi, and we covered the whole thing, and we started reading from the archived version of the webpage, right? And it was funny because the reason why she got upset was obviously because it made her look like a fucking idiot, which she is.
Yes.
That's the long and the short of it. It's not like, you know, who's this person? That's what Bowie tried to spin it into that. But, you know, if someone, and Artie's right, if someone made a website that was based on, you know, every fuck up you've ever made, it would be annoying.
Oh yeah, it would. No, I think with Robin, she had insecurity. You see, She had insecurity about her role on the show and what was she really there for. And she kept always telling herself from day one, I read the news. Whatever else happens is whatever, you know. And for someone to actually undermine the very thing that she's really fucking there for. Yeah. She's like, well, if I can't do that, well, then what am I here for?
Well, this is my question. You know, we're not talking more recently when she's got chemo brain, which I'm sure now, knowing what I know, because I've had a couple friends I found out this summer, that was another thing to make the trip worse. Found out that 2 friends have cancer and they're fighting it. And, you know, old Gen X, which really, you know, that's my one buddy says, it's sniper's alley between 50 and 60. If you get past 60, you're probably going to make it quite a while, but it's into the 50s is the worst time. People are dropping off like flies. No, anyway, but with Robin, prior to all this, let's say 20 years ago, what's the excuse for getting these fucking things wrong? Reading them. Like, because you're telling me you're accessing sites that have erroneous information and you're reading it anyway. I think that's exactly what it was. And also the humor's like, if she can't read properly because she's a provincial idiot, she's just going to go ahead with whatever she reads. Whatever comes out will be the news, and that's fine by her. Why check? Why double check?
But didn't she get it? It was done for her. I mean, they were printed off and picked out, and you know, she just read the fucking thing.
Right, but that just shows you she was a shitty reader.
I think maybe there was situations where she didn't do her job right when she was printing them off, or when she actually went to read them because she'd rushed it. She hadn't printed them off correctly, and she went off piste.
Yeah,
and when she went off piste, it all fell apart because she just doesn't have the smarts or the general knowledge to. Yeah, you know, she get names wrong because she doesn't know who the people are, and
maybe that printer paper with the pegs on the side that you ripped off, and like they might have actually gone over the margins, and it says 00 instead of 500. So she decided I'm going to make a number.
Yeah. Could have been. Yeah. I mean, who knows back in those days? But it did get worse. It did get, and I remember used to love the news on certain days. Oh, I used to love it. I used to save it for my commute home because I knew it would take me about in the same time. It would go on for like an hour.
Yeah, it used to.
You had a good comic in. It was great. Gilbert especially. But
Gilbert, for fuck's sake. What was that one? Guys, no more N-word. No more N-word stuff. You know? Yeah. And then Robin, Spike Lee's in the news. And our killers,
yeah. Or like the Jackie laugh during like some horrible story.
That clip, I can still listen to it.
Yeah. But you know what I used to? Yeah, I used to love when Howard used to play. They used to play press clips of a celebrity plugging their movie.
Yeah,
and I used to love that because he used to go through them for a shortcut. Oh yeah, where you have some celebrity go, you know, I just love this role because it gives me the freedom, and then Fred will start playing this, blah, 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 blah. And they just start like ripping the piss out of. Like obviously, he can't do that now.
No, or he'd have Selma Hayek talking, and then you'd hear chickens clucking.
Yeah.
or they might have like crackhead Bob talking something like while someone's talking who's fucked up or whatever it is. I mean, it's just like it was, and then it became like someone else. I think it might have been Cormano, might have been Ben. Ben might have said it. It was a dumping ground for live reads. And then without the comic relief, what was the point of the news?
Yeah, so you would always have. Let me tell you a bit about whatever they call Recruiter or one of these. ZipRecruiter. What were the things they used to have back then? They used to have some terrible sponsors back then.
Oh, well, Steven Singer, obviously, but what was the one? Total Wine and More is the more recent stuff.
Yeah.
Total Wine and More. Fuck's sake.
Ashley Madison.
Ashley Madison was her slogan was "Life is short, have an affair."
Oh man! And then there was a data leak. Do you remember that? There was a data leak.
Oh fuck! That was something else. Yeah. What was that? What was that line in Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels? Ass ticklers, whatever. Like they said, like this is how we're going to make some money. So you advertise the best dildos on the planet, and you call it Ass Ticklers Inc. or something like that. And you have them send the money, but then you take the money and then you don't, you don't provide them with the product, who the hell's going to go to the bank, their local bank, and say, I sent this to Ass Ticklers Inc.?
It's a great scam, isn't it?
It is a great scam, yeah. Like the best in like lube, like anal pleasure, something like that.
Fleshlights and all this type of stuff, like sex dolls. And,
yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
No, you go.
I'm saying, like today, in other words, like she was. I mean, Ralph's right. She was extra mad for some reason, and like while today I was able to somehow calm down. If Howard hadn't stopped getting in with her, she would have really went nuts, I think.
Well,
and so he stopped. But I think part of it is she felt that Howard wouldn't expose himself to that kind of abuse like that. You know what I mean? So she's like, well,
that wasn't.
And he's absolutely right, and she knows that. That's a fair point. That's a good assessment because, like, if Howard, I mean, Christ's sake, we just did. Matt and I just covered an episode where Chevy Chase literally says Howard's an ass and he has the brain of an egg timer, and it took 30 minutes for Howard to cyclically go over and over and over and over again the same stupid thing, and then bitch about it. You know, his movie careers. It like an 11-year-old, like a 10-year-old might, you know, who wasn't given a Valentine from 5 girls in class on Valentine's Day.
Well, we covered the Andy Dick, which was very entertaining. When Andy Dick had a rant on and Howard went absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
Like, couldn't handle it at all. But how many times did he do that? He just, someone would
Constantly.
say, who was your one, who had frontal dementia, or they thought she was an alcoholic?
Wendy Williams.
Wendy Williams, like she really hit a nerve, you know.
Yeah.
But I love it. Like Howard hates when people call him washed up.
Yes.
And like, that really gets to him. I think I think he's learned to try, and he's probably learned that it doesn't serve him well to rant against that stuff on the air, because it just makes the audience just realize he fucking really is washed up.
Well, yeah. I mean, like the idea that this guy, like Bill Maher, said something about, enough with this I love my wife stuff, Howard. And then he decided, like, I'm going to actually address this on my show rather than tell Bill, like, fuck off, whatever, or leave it alone, because he has an opinion and so does everybody else. And he decided to go on for 20 minutes about, I guess I'm not allowed to say I love my wife. Like this little saucy, saucy as a cut dog, but without half the wit, and decide I'm going to fuck on Bill for 20 minutes because, I'm too pussy to just tell him outright, hey, cut the shit. Don't mention me on the airwaves.
Yeah, speaking of Bill Maher, that Billy Joel, fucking hell, that Billy Joel interview is unbelievable. It might be the worst. He makes Howard look like
Was it the club? Was it Club Random?
Yeah, it's absolutely astonishing how bad it is.
He's horrible. He's horrible on that show.
Awful. Yeah. He's such a self-satisfied prick. I hate him. I absolutely hate him.
The Bill Burr one was good because Bill gave it back to him constantly, and he just destroyed the show. Like you would have thought that Bill Maher was the guest.
Wow. Well, you would have thought that Bill Maher was the guest on the Billy Joel thing, because all he did was talk, and Billy Joel's looking at him going, like squinting, looking at him going, you're an asshole.
Yeah.
It's really bad.
Billy is one who knows.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. And Billy's not well, I don't think. He's got some brain issue, but I actually watched that. There's a documentary out about him now. It's really interesting, because a lot of it goes into the music industry. A lot of stuff I didn't know about his ex-wife being his manager, and the Phil Ramone and all the contractual stuff. But anyway, fucking Bill Maher's an absolute, like, you want to talk about washed up. This guy's really on the edge now. He's got a political show, supposed to be where he's holding politicians' feet to the fire, and he goes and he's having dinner in the White House and stuff. You're compromised.
Yeah.
You can't, and you'd say that regardless of whether it's a Republican or Democrat in the White House, you cannot do that and remain a kind of an impartial, have credibility. But
your credibility goes right out the window. And what it was Bill in his own way, like Howard, wants so desperately to be part of some in crowd. He decided, you know what? Not many people get a chance to go with Trump. I think, I don't know, for on a one-on-one, or maybe if he explained it as, I wanted to see what it was like up close, which he may have done. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. And as a social experiment, then I would have understood it. Because that would not be something Trump would want to hear after the fact, like, oh, he used me, he wanted to get close and see what it was like, and inside that, and then trash the White House, let's say, for example. But he was very complimentary, actually. Yeah. And, you know, you're right, you can't have that edge. You can't have that guy that up, I'm going to, you know, hold whoever it is, left or right, I'm going to hold their feet to the fire and let them know that this is shit and this is bad and this is a horrible policy and you shouldn't do this. And he's been going on a downward spiral with that Club Random for the longest time. Very self-serving, obnoxious, drugged up. It's everything you hate about him and his attitude during Politically Incorrect or the real-time thing. It's tripled, quadrupled on that Club Random.
I found this clip, right? Do you know Fred Armisen? You know that guy? He's in Portlandia. Yeah. Yep. So he did a thing with this guy, Tim Heidecker, where Fred Armisen as himself. Yeah. And basically Tim Heidecker just pretending exactly like Bill Maher. Yeah. And I've never seen a more accurate. It's quite nuanced now because he's not just doing a voice or anything. It's all about his demeanor and he's like he's really kind of left-handed compliments. And like he says to Fred Armisen, I'm just trying to think, you know, where do I know you from? You were in a band or you were in a, you know, like really a bit like, you know, we had this conversation about, there's nothing funnier than when you get someone's name slightly wrong, or it just shows the complete level of disinterest. And like Bill Maher does that constantly.
Yeah, you know? Like the Stuttering John. Do you miss being in the limelight?
That's one of the greatest.
Or why are you famous?
Why are you here? Do you miss the limelight? That's one of the great.
To me, those are all up there with. Which would be very topical now. Gary Garver's, are you a friend to Israel?
Oh, yeah.
As if Israel was a human being.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Such a loaded question. But also, I remember the Pat Cooper song when he calls it Cyrus. You know, I love
Cyrus, that. Skivoses. Anyway, thank you for the link, by the way. I downloaded the ebook, the EPUB. Well, not the EPUB, it was a PDF.
It's a PDF, yeah.
Yeah. I used it for a couple other books, and some of them are actually pretty good. Others are, you know, jagged copies or like, you know, but that's, it's luck of the draw. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it, you know, at least they exist, which is a great source. Anyway, we'll leave that one for now, guys. There's a lot more, but we're going to maybe cut to some of it later, but, or add it to another episode. So, how about a dedication? Have you given any thought to this one?
What was this Jimi Hendrix one you were thinking of? Oh, that was for
was going to be that's for the cover art.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For the cover art, yeah. What would we do?
Well, if it was Arty, we'd go fire, you know. But you know, something Little Miss Lover. I don't know if it's going to be Hendrix.
To do with shit. A lot of shit in this episode.
Yeah. Let's see. Too bad it wasn't the running of the midnight lamp. I have to think about this one.
Midnight runs. But there's a bit of diarrhea in there. Maybe I'll come up with some kind of diarrhea of a madman.
Suicide solution.
Did we do Snowblind before? That's one of my favorites.
I have a volume 4 Sabbath Photoshop. I think this is Beth Stern, Massive Horror, something like that. She's doing the thing like that, like honestly in yellow. So maybe I'll use that for the
diarrhea
future.
Of a madman would work either.
But something that's got single art, you know, or you know something I could use. But either way, but for the song,
let's just do Diarrhea of a Madman. Let's just do Diarrhea.
All right, for in tribute for Fozzy.
Yeah, I think so.
You don't want to play "I'm a Real American" by Hulk Hogan or "Hulkster in Heaven."
Bam, bam, bam. Oh, "Hulkster in Heaven" might be a good one. I saw it on the bit. Yeah, but Jesus, he's such a. First I tore my shirt, now you've torn my heart. Do you know that story was completely made up?
Completely fabricated, just like it was a work.
Kid with cancer.
Yeah.
But the kid with cancer. Such a piece of shit, that guy.
Shameless.
Absolutely shameless.
Yeah. At any rate, thank you so much for coming back for this one. We'll have another episode again when the month ends. And guys, we hope you've enjoyed this one. Sorry, we went into the weeds a little bit at times, but that's us getting our feet wet again into the QF territory. So thank you guys for listening, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care.
If you went through the most incredible metamorphosis and somehow transformed yourself into the best person you're capable of being, and you and Lisa G, after that metamorphosis took place, were on the top floor of a burning building, and it's just you two, and God told Lisa, I will give you the ability to fly if you kiss John the Stutterer, she would say no.
I know. Well,